Hi there! Today we will be reading a story about the tricky tortoise. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to listen to a story carefully, answer questions based on the story, and retell the story in your own words. Let's begin! There once lived a tortoise named Isa in a village far away. He had a big farm, but it was full of weeds because Isa never took care of it. Every year, Isa watched all the animals plant and harvest food, but this year he wanted to harvest too. He said to himself, "I'm going to plant plenty of carrots this year." But when he got to his farm, he saw the farm was full of weeds. And since Isa was lazy, he did not want to pull up the weed. He said to himself, "I don't want to pull this weed. I'm just a small tortoise." So Isa thought of a tricky plan. He got a long rope and told Uzo the hippo to meet him on the other side of the farm. Isa said to Uzo, "I bet I can pull this rope harder than you. Just hold one end and wait until I start to pull before you start pulling." Then Isa took the other end of the rope to the other side of the farm where he told Dibble the elephant to meet him. Isa said to Dibble, "I'm sure I can pull this rope harder than you. Let's test it. Just hold one end and wait until I start pulling before you start pulling." Then Isa went to the middle of the field and gave the rope a pull. Uzo and Dibble began to pull on each end of the rope. They pulled really hard. The rope went this way and that way until they cut down all the weed. Isa walked over to Uzo and said, "Thank you." Then he went over to Dable and said, "Thanks." Uzo and Dable were still pulling when they both asked, "Isa, how are you pulling the rope?" Isa laughed and walked away because his trick worked. Did you enjoy the story? Today, we read a story about the tricky tortoise. And now we're going to answer a few questions based on the story.